Hey guys, how's it going? Hope everybody's all doing well. And in today's video, I want to talk about the big fight that took place over the weekend between Terence Crawford and Shawn Porter. But before that, I just want to give a quick shout out and say thank you to everybody that subscribed to the channel, help support the channel, and get me to the 500 subscriber mark. I definitely appreciate all the support. Thanks, guys, for that. And now let's talk about the big fight that took place over the weekend. Terence Crawford gets the victory via late stoppage, as I expected in the pre-fight video. However, with that being said, I thought the stoppage was a bit premature. I definitely didn't think Shawn Porter was that badly hurt, or was, didn't have his senses about to where they needed to stop the fight. I thought even his reaction to the second knockdown showed that he knew exactly where he was and what was going on. He hit the floor in frustration because he knew he may have just cost himself the fight, or at that point made the fight extremely hard to win from that point on, where he would have probably needed, to get a knockdown back or a knockout at that point to win the fight. So I thought he knew exactly where he was, and he was definitely in the fight. The fight was extremely close at that point, so I don't think Kenny Porter should have stopped the fight. I know he's Shawn's father, but I mean, this was like a historical fight. I mean, this is a chance where Shawn Porter had the opportunity to win, another welterweight title, and he's in there against one of the guys that a lot of people in the sport say is the best pound for pound in the sport. So, this fight would have had a lot of, historical relevance. And unfortunately, Kenny Porter threw the towel in and kind of took that chance away from Shawn Porter to, get that legacy for himself. But yeah, let's get into how the fight was going and how the fight played out. Now, Shawn Porter got off to a very good fast start, as he usually does, and as I expected and would suggest that you should do when fighting Terence Crawford, is try and start fast, which he did. After the first 4 rounds, I think I had Shawn up 3 rounds to 1. And after the first 6, I think he was about 4-2 up or something like that. So, he was doing really well in the fight. Terence Crawford always starts slow in most of his fights. He did the same here again. He comes out, he starts slow, he's having a look at his opponent, trying to, see what game plan his opponent has on the night, trying to get the opponent's rhythm and timing down, so he can start to, make adjustments and land counters. And that's what he came out trying to do. After, I think, the 5th round, Crawford started to make some adjustments. He was fighting mostly out of a southpaw stance, which I thought was smart, to try and take Shawn Porter's jab away, so that Shawn couldn't jab his way inside and would have to just start leaping in and relying on using feints to try and, get Crawford's timing off. So he took away Shawn's jab by fighting southpaw. So Shawn had to just leap in with, power shots from, quite a little bit too far out, in my opinion, which was allowing Crawford to, counter Shawn Porter with that left uppercut on his way in. We saw him land it to the body, a number of times throughout the fight, and that ended up being the punch that put Shawn down in the 10th round. And in the pre-fight video, I did think it would be an uppercut, and a counter uppercut that would put Porter down, which I said in the pre-fight video. But I think Shawn was boxing early from, boxing well early in the fight. At points, he was outboxing Terence Crawford, out-jabbing Terence Crawford at points. Shawn Porter has a very underrated jab, which I also said in the pre-fight video, as well as underrated footwork. Definitely just an overall underrated boxer. He's not just a brawler or a one-trick pony, because you can look at the Keith Thurman fight, the Danny Garcia fight, the Earl Spence fight, and in all those fights he boxed really well. He used his jab really well, used feints really well, and in this fight he was once again, using a lot of feints, head movement. He outboxed Crawford at times, he roughed Crawford up at times. He had a lot of success in the, like I say, after the first 4 rounds I had him up 3-1, and after the first 6 rounds I think I had him up 4-2 or something like that. Crawford definitely did start to make adjustments, and at the point of the stoppage, or going into the last round where Kenny threw in the towel, I think I had the fight close to about even, or 1 round up either way. I mean, there were definitely a lot of swing rounds in there which could have gone either way. Can't quite remember at that point what I had it scored. I'll have to watch the fight back and rescore it. But Shawn Porter was definitely well in the fight and was boxing really well. Crawford, and I liked what he was doing, where he was going to the body to try slow Shawn Porter down. I think what's underrated about Terence Crawford is that he's deceptively strong at the 147-pound division. Um, a lot of guys in the past have just been, bullied and completely bulldogged and roughed up by Shawn Porter on the inside and on the ropes. In this fight, you saw Terence Crawford. He wasn't getting roughed up that badly. I mean, at points he got roughed up a little bit on the inside, but he was able to tie Shawn Porter up pretty well on the inside. Where you've seen guys like Andre Berto, Keith Thurman, Danny Garcia, even those guys kind of get roughed up on the inside, where Shawn Porter was too physically strong for them. Adrian Broner as well in that category, where Shawn's just too physically strong and, fit for you. And he's able to just outpower you and rough you up in the fight. In this fight over the weekend, that wasn't the case. Terence Crawford, pretty strong. He was able to push Shawn Porter back in some of the clinches, tie him up, pretty well. I'm not sure if that's due to him having a background in wrestling, which they did mention in the commentary. So that may have played a part in it, because I saw he had underhooks on Shawn at one point when he pushed Shawn back to the ropes and kind of, outmuscled Shawn in one of the clinches, shoved him back onto the ropes, where he used the, underhooks to, drive Shawn back to the ropes. But like I say, overall it was a pretty good performance from both guys. I thought the stoppage was a little bit anticlimactic. I thought Shawn was well in the fight. I didn't think Kenny should have thrown in the towel. I do think Terence Crawford would have probably got the victory. From that point on, I think it was going to be, in Terence Crawford's favor, and I know that's what Kenny said he stopped the fight for. It was not because of what happened, but it was because of what he could see coming. That may be true, because like I did say in the pre-fight video, Terence Crawford is one of the best finishers in the sport of boxing, maybe the best finisher in the sport of boxing. Once he gets you hurt and smells blood, he goes for the kill and he gets you out of this. So maybe Kenny Porter's right, we'll never know, but I think Shawn Porter wasn't that badly hurt to where he would have been able to defend himself and maneuver, himself around the ring to at least make it the distance, if not, try and, get a knockdown back or get the stoppage himself, because Shawn Porter was having a lot of success in that. It wasn't like he was just, getting dominated. So I would have liked to have seen Shawn get the chance to at least go the distance and not end his career getting stopped in such a, big fight. But, good performance from both guys. The welterweight division, one of the deepest divisions in boxing historically. Pretty deep at the moment, and there's a lot of fights out there for Terence Crawford. I know he's not no longer with Top Rank now, so we should be able to see a lot of these fights happen that couldn't happen over the past few years due to them being on the opposite sides of the street. Obviously the Earl Spence fight, but with Spence coming off for the eye injury and the car crash, I don't think we'll see him look to take the fight against Terence Crawford too soon. And when they do fight, I think Crawford, in my opinion, has the edge in that fight. I would be leaning towards Terence Crawford, but there's a lot of young talent coming up in the 147-pound division, such as Virgil Ortiz, which is a fight that I'd really like to see happen, because Crawford said obviously he wanted to see Virgil Ortiz fight Aegis Kovalyauskas after he had a tough night against Kovalyauskas. Virgil fought Kovalyauskas, Mean Machine. He had a tough night as well, but he managed to get the stoppage in that fight. So I'd definitely like to see Virgil get his chance at Terence Crawford. Also guys like Stanionis and Jaron Ennis, those are definitely all exciting fights that I'd like to see in the 147-pound division. Let me know in the comment section below how you thought the fight played out over the weekend, who you want to see Terence Crawford fight next, and if you thought the stoppage was premature like I thought it was. Let me know in the comment section below. Overall, very competitive, close fight. It was a good fight to watch. Unfortunately, the stoppage, in my opinion, was a little bit anticlimactic. Let me know in the comment section below how you saw things on the weekend. Thanks for listening. Talk to you guys again soon. Cheers.